Hey guys, Cheri from The Watering Mouth here with a video on the 2 most important tips for a beginner on the Eat to Live Nutritarian diet. So if you don't know what the Eat to Live Nutritarian diet is, check out the book. Eat to Live by Dr. Joel Fuhrman. It talks all about how to do this lifestyle, and it is so important because it is all set up for our longevity, our health, our vibrancy, our amazing, happy, energetic lives. And when we eat this way, we will feel that way. So please check out the book. As always, links for everything are down below. I also want to mention that this video is special, just like the last video. This is something I'm going to try to do with every video if I can, is include a free PDF that will give you some really cool information that comes from the video. So this particular video is going to be a PDF with 3 awesome recipes. So make sure you get on the list to get that PDF because you're going to love those recipes. They're perfect for a beginner and they really give you some good information on how you can start out. I know that when I started Eat to Live, I read the book and it wasn't until 3 months later that I actually did the diet because someone made recipes for me. I was like too lazy. I was overwhelmed. I didn't know which recipes to use. And so these are 3 recipes that I think are really, really good for a beginner, and they're actually 2 of them are the 2 that I started with. So check out this PDF. You can sign up for it either above or below, and that way you can also get previous PDFs from other videos as well. Okay, so the 2 most important tips for beginners on the Eat to Live diet. I come up with these tips through my coaching. I'm an Eat to Live coach on the side because these videos don't pay me nothing. I do these for free. So these are a couple of things that I've come up with that I have to say to everybody because they're very, very important. They're like cornerstones on the diet. Number 1 is when you're first starting out, as I was talking about that overwhelm, so important to know how to like combat that and get through it, because overwhelm can be the thing that just knocks you off the diet in the first place. And this really is a lifestyle. It's meant to be not just, you know, not just a diet, it's meant to be forever. So if you can stay on it as long as possible, we want to use whatever techniques we can to stay on it. So this first technique is 1 new recipe per week. You must make 1 new recipe per week. You can do more than that, of course. It's better if you can do more than that, but most people don't have a lot of time. The reason you want to do at least 1 new recipe per week is because, like I said in the beginning, if you start out with a couple things that you kind of like, and let's say that will keep you going for a couple weeks or so, that's really good to kind of get your momentum going. But there is a place where you're going to get sick of those recipes, and you don't want to get sick of stuff because when you're getting overwhelmed or frustrated or you're stressed or whatever, if you don't have some go-tos that you really love or that, you know, you're not sick of, you're just going to end up going back to your old habits. And so until you can really make a good pattern of making Eat to Live an everyday, all the time, this is all you do thing, which can take quite a while depending on the circumstances we have in our lives and the stresses we're going through. Maybe our family members don't eat this way, so it makes it more challenging for us. If you're doing 1 new recipe per week that's Nutritarian, you're gonna learn new cooking techniques, you're gonna learn new ingredients that you never used before, and you're also just gonna be able to wrap your head around more what the flavors are supposed to be like, what things go really well together, and then you can also come up with other things that are very similar. So it's super easy to just take 1 Nutritarian recipe, mix up some of the vegetables or some of the beans or some of the spices and get a completely different recipe. So trying 1 new recipe per week or more if you can also get you into the habit of cooking. And we all know it's really, really hard to eat Nutritarian out at restaurants and other people's houses because they don't quite understand all the intricacies of the lifestyle. And so cooking is one of the most important things that we can get in the habit of doing to keep on track for the long term. And then I always tell everybody that after the end of a year, if you've done 1 recipe per week, you now know 52 new things, which is more recipes than anyone needs to know. But you're certainly, if some of those were duds and you didn't love them, you're certainly going to come up with several that you love from like each category: smoothies, soups, salads, stir fries, steamed veggies, the way that you're going to eat all these different things together. You'll certainly know more than enough things to keep you on track for the next year and the next year after that. And if you just keep going, you just keep learning, it can't get any better than that. Okay, tip number 2 for beginners on the Eat to Live Nutritarian diet is, and I cannot stress this enough, greens, beans, veggies, you guys, GBV. Greens, beans, veggies. Why is this so important? Because typically when people start the Eat to Live diet, they're usually coming from standard American diet. So they're giving up meat, they're giving up cheese, they're giving up all these other things. So they just want some comfort when they come into Eat to Live. So they might start overdoing it with fruits or grains like oatmeal or quinoa or nuts or things like this. People tend to overdo it with these kinds of foods that are the limited foods actually on Eat to Live. And so they don't end up losing weight and they get really frustrated. Of course, if you want another video about what happens if you're plateauing, I have a video about 4 reasons that you might be not losing weight on Eat to Live, so check that one out as well. But if you're in this place where you're really frustrated and you don't know what to do, typically it's because you're not eating enough greens, veggies, and beans. That is the bottom of the Nutritarian food pyramid, you guys. It needs to be the most that you eat during the day. It needs to be the bulk that you're eating. So every meal should be based around greens, beans, and veggies. And if you're not doing that, it's likely that you're either not eating enough food, and so you're hungry and you're feeling like you need to use, willpower a lot, or you're eating too many calories and you're gaining weight, right? So if you're making the bulk of what you're doing be greens, beans, and veggies, it's almost impossible to overeat on those things. I think it is impossible to overeat on those things. The more that you eat of those, with greens and veggies being the main important part here, the more you eat of those, the more full you're gonna get, the more satisfied you'll be. You will need to use less willpower, you won't be as cravey, and everything will just go a lot more smoothly. That's how Eat to Live is supposed to go. And you might think to yourself like, oh, but that sounds terrible if all my meals are just around greens, beans, and veggies, or at least lunch or dinner or whatever. Sure, I can understand how you might think that in the beginning, but that's why you go back to number 1 and you try new recipes every week, because then you know how to make things taste really amazing. You find recipes that you love in those categories and everything's gonna be good. So making sure that you have a lot of bulk at your meals. You don't wanna be eating these tiny portion sizes and then wondering why you're starved by the time the next meal comes around and why you were so cravey and why you felt like you couldn't make it through. If you're getting these feelings, it means that you're not eating enough, and so you're typically not eating enough bulk. You need to be eating tons and tons of food that takes you kind of forever to eat these meals, the salads, lots of stir fry, lots of things. And one little note here, one little caveat to make sure when I'm talking about veggies, I don't mean potatoes and starches and corn and these things that are very like starchy. I mean the non-starchy types of vegetables. So greens, anything like kale, romaine, arugula, green leaf, any kind of green. When you think of these collard greens, different kinds of green leaf vegetables that are veggies here are the non-starchy ones. So anything like eggplant, cauliflower, broccoli, green beans, tons and tons of them, mushrooms, there's so many of them, just not the real starchy ones. And then beans, any kind of beans, legumes, lentils, this kind of thing. If you're making your meals on this rung of the food pyramid here, then you're gonna be satisfied after a while. You might not like it at first, but once you get used to it, within just a week or 2, you're gonna start to love these foods, I promise you. And you're gonna feel full, you're gonna get to the next meal, and you're gonna feel satisfied. You might even be not hungry at the next meal. And these are really the important tips that I think people they get a little bit tripped up on, and then they think the diet doesn't work. They think the lifestyle doesn't work. And these are the important things to keep in mind and to really, really give it your all so that you can actually get the benefits of the lifestyle as well as, feeling full and not having to feel cravey anymore. Okay, so these were the 2 most important tips for how to start with the Eat to Live diet, but also for people who are plateauing or for anybody. It's really important to keep these 2 in mind. And make sure to sign up to get the free PDF with 3 of my favorite recipes that I started out with that I think are really, really helpful to kind of get you in the motions of Eat to Live. These are the 3 recipes that you can start cooking yourself, start making yourself, keep yourself on track right in the very beginning. Hopefully you'll love them so they can become your go-tos as well. So sign up for that PDF somewhere in the description. I'm gonna put links. I have links for everything that I talk about in all my videos always in the description, so please check those out. Also, if you like my videos, I don't make a lot of money doing these videos. I do these for you for free because I think they're really helpful. I want to be able to share my knowledge and keep you on track as well. So if you are interested in supporting me or helping me make more videos for you, please check out my Patreon channel. That is where all the cool kids are hanging out. I give you exclusive content there as well. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and comment down below. Tell me, are there any tips that you think of that are super important for a beginner, or what helps you the most to keep in mind when you're doing the Eat to Live diet? Let's talk about this down below in the comment section. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have the best day in the whole world, and I will see you next week in the next video. Bye.